I mean, if you think about it, I mean, I think that's a beautiful vision, you know, as long as you hold on to that, it will manifest into the physical reality, no doubt. But you think about, if you look back in the past and what the different groups and cultures did, they always had, you know, the medicine man and the
Yeah,
healers, and it's really the same thing. That's the culture, the community will go to these people or these places where and convene and find some in nature to bring about the healing,
yeah,
whether they was doing breath work or energy work, or they was using something from a plant, you know, they found in the forest or in the field,
yeah.
whatever it may be, you know. So it's the same thing. It's just, I guess, with a modern spin. Of course, we use some modern technology and all that things to make, you know, to help it all come together.
Well,
But
again, remember everything is energy.
Mhm.
So you got to, when you're, Lori was talking about earlier, but it's like from our perspective, it's like you got a guitar, instead of replacing the guitar string, you just tune it. And so, like, nature is on the same vibration as us. We're from nature, the minerals in our body, right? And and we always joke and say medicine is really me, die, sin, right? And
Mhm.
that
That's a good one.
medicine has its own vibration, right? And so it's like,
Mhm.
do you want to inject in your body what they want to send, what message they want to send,
Mhm.
or would you like that of the opposite of something from nature, And
Yeah.
so I just, for us, we clearly see that there's this big shift, and we're going back into a more harmonic waveform, which encompasses all things natural. And for me, I feel like being a part of Reiki and taking ayahuasca in my late 20s and just had
Mhm.
this incredible experiences where it's like the future of medicine really is light therapy from my point of view, like vibrational
Mhm.
therapy, sound therapy, light therapy, like in
Yeah.
dealing with parasites and all that kind of stuff, and so I'm very excited about where we're going, and I feel very blessed to be part of this project that Lori brought into the world, along with her sister and this other incredible young man that she mentioned earlier, Brian. At this platform, it's a big idea. We need help, but it's a functioning, it's a grassroots Christian based patriot platform, to really help people who are unaware of things holistically. They could come check things out,
Mhm.
experiment, and down the road we will have some type of 11pedia, which will be some type of, you'll have to have an AI and a human aspect. You'll have an AI Wikipedia, well, 11pedia, I'm focused on health, but you'll have the human aspect too. But we're not going to get away from the AI stuff. But anyway, I digress.
And that the
Yeah.
energy medicine, like besides Reiki, you have homeopathic medicine, you have essential
Mhm.
oil. I use homeopathic and
Yeah.
essential oils and tapping and things like that. Reiki. But
What are essential oils? I heard you mention that. You know, what's the value? What does it do?
so most pharmaceutical medicines that they have came originally from how plant medicine works. And so you have
Hmm.
lavender. You can put lavender in a burn if you burn yourself, and it can take away the pain and heal your skin up. Your skin. Frankincense. Why was frankincense and myrrh and gold brought to baby Jesus? Is because they used to cover the kings and the any royal families with frankincense oil because it kills all it worked as an antibiotic. It's antimicrobial, anti everything. And so all babies were covered with frankincense, and then they would burn the myrrh incense to purify the air. And so there's reasons behind these things. So you can take so many eucalyptus, like for breathing. Like I have bottles of eucalyptus. I just breathe it in if I get any stuffy nose, or clove oil.
That work.
Yeah, as a
That works.
teenager, I had strep throat all the time. And once
Mhm.
I discovered essential oils, I put clove oil on a Q-tip. Now, it does not feel great. I'll tell you that. You rub it on your
Mhm.
tonsil, it kills everything that was harboring and living in my tonsil for so many years. And it makes you gag, and then it numbs it. So you get rid of your sore throat. And I got uh strep throat twice, did it both with clove oil, and I never got strep throat again. I don't suffer from sore throats for 20 years. And so it's things that there's so many things like that you can use. Just so your
Hmm.
sense of smell is the most heightened of all your senses. So besides,
Hmm.
it can be brought into a different state through smell faster than anything else, like the smell of baking bread or something
Hmm.
that smelled like your home as a child, or something
I can think,
putrid. I mean, it
think of them.
instantaneously reacts faster than anything. So essential oils can do the same thing. There's moods, there's joy, there's an emotional release set of oils that when you smell them, it definitely does help with all sorts of emotional blockage and things. So yeah, it's great. That's it. That the great thing is we want to be able to teach people all these things.
That's really something. So when we talk about the essential oils, that's mind blowing. I didn't really know that about the frankincense and myrrh. You hear that before, but you never know the reason or the backstory behind something
Right.
until you, like you said, you go back into the past and you're like, okay, that's what it really means. That's really enlightening. It's really going to help people kind of bridge the gap between some of the things and stories they may have heard, and what's the reason why people did this in the past, and that'll get people into maybe research and try to understand something on a different level, which will bring about some knowledge and elevation. So that's a really good thing.
They all carry a frequency also, don't forget.
I know we talked a lot of different things, but I want to talk more about the permaculture. How does permaculture relate to personal health, and what are practical steps an individual takes to live more in sync with nature?
Okay, so right now I have a cattle ranch in Florida, so that's where I am right now. So, but I have lots of children, grandchildren. They live in Pennsylvania, so I divide my time between Florida and Pennsylvania. And
Hmm.
I have a food forest that I'm growing down here, and I do it with permaculture. And how you grow with permaculture is you're growing like nature does. Like if you look out in the woods, no one's out there watering the woods. It rains when it rains. And so why is it that plants will grow in areas like that? And it's, if you look at it, it's the layers. The Lord knows what he's doing. And so
Hmm.
when you're doing permaculture, what you're doing is you're laying sometimes logs. I have a permaculture bed where I have logs at the bottom, but quite often it's just sticks. And then you
Hmm.
would throw maybe a whole bunch of leaves over it, and then pine needles, and maybe some hay, and then some dirt. You build up. And as you're doing this, you're soaking and wetting everything, all your scraps from your kitchen. And once you put the dirt on top and you plant in it, and then you cover it with something like wood chips or hay, it stays moist. I have permaculture beds, hugelkultur beds down here that I will go away for 3 or 4 months, and when I come back, no one has watered them. I stick my fingers inside and it's still moist and damp in there, and the plants are still
Wow.
growing. So what you're doing is keeping from spraying chemicals on there. It's all natural. You're not having to water incessantly. That's where if you look at the ingredients on some of the like box foods,
Yeah, no, it's not good.
it is so bad for you. And so people can just learn. You can do permaculture in flower pots on a balcony if you live in an apartment. You can do it in your
Hmm.
front yard, in your backyard. Collect all the scraps, the grass cuttings from your neighbors. I mean, it
Hmm.
really is. It's about how you can layer. Some people call it lasagna layering, layer food and layer what we call waste, which isn't, back into the soil to make it
Yeah.
so as it's decaying, then you're planting in it and it feeding itself constantly, so you don't have to put the chemicals in it that are horrible for your body. Like Roundup,
Hmm.
no one should eat anything that with glyphosate on it, the Roundup on it, because it is
Hmm.
made to eat the bug from the inside out. So why do we all have all these digestive issues? The wheat we're eating today is not the wheat that we ate years ago. So if you're going to eat wheat, eat something from Italy where they don't spray Roundup on it. They've banned it over there. And so, or eat lots of times sourdough bread. It off gases enough that it's off gassing the glyphosate, so it's not quite as bad as just the regular bread in the store is terrible for it. It's causing so many problems with people. So the best thing you can possibly do is eat, grow your own food, because even organic food, you can spend all this money in organic food, and it's only considered organic as the way it's grown. And then once it's shipping, that people who are shipping it can spray whatever they want on it. So, and it doesn't count. It's the same thing with grass-fed beef. As long as they can get whatever they want, and then as long as the last week of they're alive, they feed it grass, and it's considered grass-fed. So you can't really trust what a lot of these things say.
A lot of that stuff is just marketing.
Just marketing. And that's what's so sad. And that's why I'm growing a food forest. And also with permaculture, you don't just grow a whole garden of tomatoes and then a whole thing of cucumbers. You put some cucumbers, some tomatoes, some carrots. And so because that's how nature is. And then the next bed over, you do the same thing. You don't, the monoculture, that oneness is what causes the disease, the bacteria, the bugs will come in and eat everything. So with permaculture, you're mixing it up. One flower bed, you'll put a variety of vegetables, and the next one, you put a variety of vegetables. You don't put everything all together. And that's a big thing with permaculture also. So how do we get back to learning how to grow our own food? And then dehydrating it. I mean, dehydrators, you can go to a thrift store and get a dehydrator for like $10. And when something's on sale or you have a surplus of things in your house, say tomatoes, you can slice those tomatoes, dehydrate them in the dehydrator. They almost taste like candy. They're so good when they're dehydrated. Put them in a sealed jar, and then later you can add water to them, and then you have spaghetti sauce. So it's just a matter of learning. We forgot all this wisdom. We have they're not passing down the wisdom of how to take care of ourselves for generations. And that's what we'd like to change, is how do we educate people so they can learn how to do this again. And people are just afraid. Just go. Who cares if you fail? Plant something. Seeds don't cost that much. The local
the only way you learn about failing.
the
trying
local feed store down here, you can get a couple tablespoons of seeds for like 50 cents. So it's a matter of looking, joining, growing things. People will trade plants. It's really, it's what you're thinking. It's the desire to do it, to have a healthier life, being tired of being sick and tired.
The will to change. The will to do something. Like I said, like what you guys are doing, your platform is just a bigger, brighter, bolder way. And that's what's going to bring about, great change and evolution.
Yeah,
what you guys are doing. It's so good. But that is true. Like, so like with the way the permaculture, you are, instead of just plain like, I guess, corn or just one thing, you mixing the different things together. So it's bringing that harmony and oneness. Yeah. I'm sure that's probably good for the soil as well. Those the different nutrients from the different plants, feeding the soil as it's growing in the soil. So.
Like black-eyed peas, they put in nitrogen back into the soil. So you can put different plants in that have harmony. Like one might take nitrogen out, you put another plant right next to it, put nitrogen in. You can get all those dried peas that you get in the grocery store, like black-eyed peas, pinto beans, they can all grow. You can grow them. You just stick them in the ground, get a little water, and you'd be surprised how fast they grow. So think how many plants come for, 89 cents for a bag of beans. And each plant can give you hundreds of beans again that you can just dry and once they grow. So it is far more doable. And it's the same thing, like change one thing. Like don't put the deodorant that has the aluminum on it under your armpits. It go right into your glands. It go right into your brain, into your carotid artery, into your heart and lungs. It's just so horrendous for you. I use Thieves deodorant from Young Living. Go to Young Living, put in Thieves deodorant, Thieves toothpaste, and a little dab of that under my arms. Now, I've gone through menopause. I'm in my 60s, and nothing worked on me. None of the natural things. I even was making my own deodorant. That Thieves toothpaste, you just take a little, rub it under each arm. What it has is essential oils in it. And the essential oils kill the bacteria that causes the this odor. So change your laundry detergent. Look at what you're putting. Like, so your skin is the biggest organ. So when you're putting laundry detergent that has all these scents and smells and chemicals, you're rubbing that on your body every day. So one of the worst things you can ever do is use the dryer sheets. Dryer sheets are toxic poison. For what's coming out of the dryer out into the universe is toxic poison. It's just poisoning our air. And the chemical residue that's left on the clothes, they're finding those chemicals inside cancers, tumors, and stuff. So they don't disappear. It isn't like, oh, now my clothes smell great. Find somewhere else to put some essential oils on a old rag and throw it in your dryer. Like, there's so many different things you can do besides poisoning yourself. Don't ever use suntan lotion again. Suntan lotion, there was not a thing of skin cancer before suntan lotion was invented. And then suntan lotion was invented, and all of a sudden skin cancer skyrockets. Why? Because if you look at it, it's a chemical nightmare, and people are rubbing it on their skin, baking it into their skin, and now they have all sorts of cancers, which never were seen before. I hate to say it, but sunglasses are horrendous for you. Your eyes have receptors.
I don't use them.
Your eyes have receptors in it that shut, when you go out in the sun, it shuts off receptors in your skin to keep you from getting burned. You're wearing sunglasses all the time, those receptors stay open and you'll get burned far more. So there's a tip for you. If you don't want to burn constantly in the sun, don't wear sunglasses.
So you're a wealth of knowledge. That's people really learn so much from this episode.
Sean, it's been the blessing of working with Laurie, and if you knew her husband, just as much of a powerhouse on what he does on his end, and just the people that they're around and the people I've been around for the past 30 plus years in my field of work. It's just been non-stop people discussing what's working for you, what's not working for you. Many of us, it's kind of like many of us woke up early. It's like, and it's not ego here, but it's like the sun started to rise and we're all laid out on a field. And some of us woke up a little early. We're stretching and yawning. And we're like, holy shit, excuse my language. Remember when we used to fly? You remember when we used to do all these things, And it's a very exciting time where we are literally moving into a new way. It's like a 90-degree turn. And, and from a Mayan perspective, they say no longer build a calendar system based on time, because we won't perceive time the same way. It's not linear, and so we've been very blessed to have people like Laurie, who's the core of this platform, and to bring in such a wealth of direct experiences. I can't put enough emphasis on that, because a
That's
lot of
powerful.
her story is crazy. It's an insane amount of kids that she has and grandkids, and it's like I struggle with 2 girls.
So how many children do you have? You mind me asking?
I adopted my first 2 kids when I was 20, and then I went to have 3 biological, and so altogether I have 14 kids. My oldest is 52, and my youngest is going to be 37. Or just turned 37, and I have 34 grandchildren. The oldest grandson is 27, and the youngest will be a year in June.
Yeah, I would love to come to your family function. There's going to be a
go,
lot of good eating.
Yeah, we go up to the Thousand Islands in Canada every year, as many of us as we can, and we all boat to a deserted island, and that's where we do our family reunion every year, and as many people as can come up there, and we just have a blast. There's something, no screens allowed. Everyone's boating and swimming and in nature. And that's what people need to get back to, is like, when you're all together, have a thing, no screen time. That's just it. People have to put their feet down. They have to start communicating, looking at each other, look each other in the eye, hug each other, laugh, take walks. Oh, it's so good for you.
Where did you say, where's this deserted island? What was the name of it?
It's called the Thousand Islands, and it's
Thousand Islands. Okay.
Seaway in Canada. There are islands that are public that you can go camping on. So you can also camp on the shore, and there's all sorts of beautiful places to stay. But in the summer, like you're from Mississippi or Tennessee, where it's probably humid. Pennsylvania. They call Pennsylvania the armpit of the United States because the humidity is so high. You go up there, it's crisp in clear air. It's chilly at night, warm during the day. You can swim all
Mm.
day and sit around the campfire at night. It's just an amazing
That
place to
sounds
be.
lovely.
Yeah,
That sounds like a really great time.
it is.
So, when people like think about like say somebody new to this, they wanna learn about holistic living, holistic practitioners. Your platform is a place for people to go. How does 11.com, simplify that in that search?
So what we do is we connect holistic practitioners with clients. So it's free, like we said, for practitioners to get in there, and they can every practitioner can do their own little page, their informational page that has what they do. So you could be looking for a Reiki master. Lots of people are more than one thing. Like Ron does a Reiki master, he's a massage therapist, he does all these other things. So if you're
Mm-hmm.
looking at Reiki master and Ron comes up, he would list all the other things he does too. So you go, oh wow, he's a massage therapist and he can do Reiki at the same time, and he does cupping and blah blah blah. So it's a way for practitioners to showcase what they do, and then they can make their own calendar of when they're available, how much they charge. The money never comes to us; it goes straight to them, and a lot. So it's divided instantly on the site, and so
Yeah.
they're not our employees, they're their own employee, and their own self-employed, and so the practitioners can hunt for the perfect practitioner they want. And so
Mm-hmm.
practitioner can rate them. You can see how many times the person's been seen. Now eventually, we're just launching, so we don't have many practitioners on at the time. This is what we need
Mm-hmm.
to get out there. Now we're doing the marketing to make people
Yeah,
aware
I got you.
that we're here. And so the more people that know about it, the more practitioners signed up. So our goal is that any town that you're in, you can look up a Reiki master, you can look up a homeopathy, you can look naturopathic, the chiropractor, acupuncturist, anything like that, and be able to find something in your area.
Yeah.
So that's the goal. So as fast as it spread and we can
Yeah.
market, is as fast as it will go. Out, Ron?
I think we launched with about 62 different modalities. We have about 206 total we have to slowly vet out. So the objective is really uh think Airbnb for holistic health.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like that reminds me of something I get, but now that's
It's
exactly what I
it's
was
it's
thinking.
it's not to jump on their creation logo or anything like that, but
Hmm.
at the end of the day, that's kind of like the concept. Now, I've been blessed. I've been a therapist now going on 35 years. I've had my own. I'm a licensed massage therapist, but I've got an array of other certifications underneath all that, Reiki and cupping and all these kinds of things. And I've had my own studio in Center City, Philly for 24 years. And throughout the years, I've had to advertise, and you don't know if you're going to get that money back in the door. So when Lori brought this to me, I thought it was brilliant because no money out of pocket till money comes in pocket. It's for free. You can get all your accolades up there and everything about who you are, and it'll help you cross promote too, because some people who are into just the physical stuff like cupping or deep therapy massage or something like that, they don't know much about any of the energy modalities, and it's a great hub for people to come and hang out and start to learn those aspects. There's many parts to it that were the concept is there. We have a functioning site. It's working, but there's aspects to it that aren't there yet, like the app, the marketplace. Like we want to have a
Hmm.
100% organic marketplace. We really want to create a hub for all things holistic health and a safe place, a place where people can say, hey, I want to get some really good CBD or something like that. They'll think,
Hmm.
oh, 11, you can
Yeah.
instantly go to 11 and you'll find an acupuncturist and a CB and some really good CBD, like, you
Yeah.
know, and it's one other little thing too, is you got to realize like healing is an art, and
Yeah.
it's a very
That's true.
high form of arts. It's called the healing arts. And
Hmm.
so we want our desire, our love would be to reach out to all the healers out there in the world and say, hey, who are you? Come here, tell us who you are. What do you have to share on the table that maybe people have never heard about before? Let's investigate you.
Hmm.
Let's see what you got going on. and let's see if it's for the betterment of humanity. Of course, there's snake oil out there, and that would be up to us to go and vet all that stuff out. We have different ways of doing that. But yeah, our desire is to create a safe place where you can come and learn about all things holistic healing. And again, I can't put enough emphasis on it, but the work has been done. It's been many years. It's been grueling to get this working platform up and going. And what you see there now is just the beginning. We have
Yeah.
a lot of things that are on the table that will help take this whole concept to a new level. And that's the part that I'm very excited about. And if there's anyone out there listening, hey, we need your help. If you're an IT expert, or you're into coding, or maybe you have an extra couple XRP or some gold for us. It's like, hey, listen, this is for you. The site is for you. It's for humanity, and come help us out.
Now, I don't see why anybody that's in that healing art space wouldn't want to be a part of this.
So
Just
the one
I can't
one
see
la
why they would.
one last thing, Sean, if you may, it's like when you just said that really just triggered one of the reasons why I got excited about this, was because again, it's a hub. So now you're gonna start getting healing, and healers have done some things that, like, wow, what are they
Yeah.
doing? Oh wow, wait, there's things beyond Reiki. There's so many other levels of
Hmm.
hands-on laying of,
Yeah.
of energy, and so this would, again, we're looking to create a meeting place of the world's healers. And you mentioned earlier about shamans and medicine men and all that stuff. How exciting to get all these people under one hub, and cross sharing and stuff like
Hmm.
that.
That kind of makes me think back. I hear stories about how they believe that long time ago, the native people would all meet at the Grand Canyon. So you kind of you think about like that, the power and the energy that's there. You
Totally.
got to think about, you get all those like-minded people that's from different places, different cultures, different experiences, different levels of knowledge, understanding, enlightenment together. It's just gonna like it's gonna be so much, the aura. It's gonna expand from that, people coming together.
Yep.
It's gonna be amazing. It's gonna
Yep.
be bigger and brighter ideas gonna come from that. It's only gonna expand.
Just think of a world when we realize we're not alone in the universe. And maybe all of a sudden we'll stop fighting with each other across the borders,
Yeah,
borders of the world. I mean,
yeah.
how retarded.
Imaginary borders.
How ridiculous, excuse
Yeah,
the word, but how ridiculous.
yeah.
Like, if we realize we're not alone, and oh my
Mm,
God, we're really just spirit, like we're just spirits here.
mm,
It's like, we've gotta, again, it's a very exciting time that's about to take
yeah.
place.
Yeah, it's a great time to be alive. Some people may not see it that way, but I definitely see it to be that way, because we in times that people are going to write about, because this is something we get into, I guess, new territory, so to speak.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yep.
Well, we
Hmm.
also want to go globally. So the only thing that's stopping us from being globally right now is some countries don't allow different modalities. It's illegal to
Hmm.
do stuff. So we have to have the money to research what is allowed in what countries. And then it would be global. I mean, wouldn't it be amazing, like if you fly to a different Romania or something like that, and you could go try some of the ancient
Hmm.
art forms that they practice there. Like that's our
Hmm.
goal, is like to be able to
That's
open
pretty
the
cool.
world up, because there's so many amazing things. Ayurvedic medicine where they're dripping
Hmm.
warm oil over your forehead and massaging your feet. Like, come on. It's just like to be able to go and experience
Yeah.
these wonderful healing places in different countries. And so that's our goal, is to be able to do it, be eventually globally. No, but
Global. Yeah.
it takes
I
money.
mean, with the podcast and technology, it could happen. So the word can get out and spread,
Yeah.
so far. So that's a really great thing. So I know Christianity and faith is the biggest part of your story, and the reason why Eleven
Yeah.
even came to be. So what in what ways can Christian entrepreneurship integrate spiritual values with sustainable business practices in today's fast-paced digital economy?
Well, I think I always act like Jesus he is part of our team. So
That's true.
I'm always referring to him like, okay, is this what we should be doing? Is this allowed and not allowed? Like, there's a whole conversation that's constantly going with me. Like, he's right here with us. What is his say about this? And
That
it
makes
has a
sense.
lot to do with how we treat other people too. Like, we start our meetings with prayer. Sometimes we end them with prayer. We constantly are asking the Lord, should we be doing this one? Should we be doing that? Is this the right thing to do? And it's just like, when you bring the divine in everything that you do, you're not going to be backstabbing. You're not going to be doing things like people who come and join our platform love us if they're joining and helping out and the back end, because we come with that sense of a whole heart that we're working for the Lord in this aspect, not ourselves, because he
I love
wants to
that.
bring nation, so how do we do that? Because he said, even more than what I'm doing, you will do. Like, he says that in the New Testament. And so that's like, we do have the power. We can channel the Lord through us to do a most amazing things. So yeah,
Yes.
it's always bringing it back to the Lord. That's what we do. All right, Jesus, what do you think that we should be doing now?
So the faith is the foundation of everything. It's not like a afterthought of something you bringing in later. It's already there.
It's
And
there.
it's there from the inception of it. From the very beginning, like you said, it
Yeah.
was downloaded. It was given to you. God blessed it upon you to bring this into the world. So that's amazing. And you are you live in dream in the sense that you're being faithful and to God and bringing forth what He wanted you to do.
Right. And it does. So
Mhm.
one of the things I think people mistake with Christianity and doing the Lord's work is that it's going to be easy. And it is not.
Yeah.
That
No.
just because you have the Lord in front of you and by you and surrounding you all the time, like, if you think about when the Lord asked Moses to go say to let my people go to the Pharaoh, he put him in jail
Mhm.
for 10 years. He was in
Yeah.
a prison. If the Pharaoh's daughter had been feeding him for 10 years, he would have died right there. And so it's not like the Lord asks you to do something and it's like, oh, this is going to be great and wonderful and I'm not going to have any issues. So I want people to realize out there, if you feel called to and for the Lord, it doesn't mean you're going to have a great, beautiful rose covered path.
Mhm.
It's struggle, because that's how we grow. It's that the light and the darkness. If you don't have the darkness to pit yourself against, you can't get to the light. No, it's only with the contrast that we grow and evolve and a change. And it's like, if you ask the Lord for courage, he's going to give you something to be courageous about. And that is never fun. It is never
Yeah.
fun. You're not in a great situation. You have to be all of a sudden have a
Yeah. So
lot
true.
of courage to do something. And
Yeah.
so it's like, you can't say, yes, I'm courageous without showing up being courageous, and the Lord's going to say, okay, you're courageous here. And then you got to step up to the plate. So that's what it means to walk with the Lord, is not like, you let me down, God, you didn't do this for me. If this was right, you would have made it easy. All that has to go out the window. It has to be like, oh, there's a stumbling block here. What do I need to learn? How am I going to get through this? What is it the Lord's showing me that it's maybe a fault within myself, or a path I'm going down that maybe I didn't see was not the right one. So lots of times when it gets really, really tough, I feel like then I'm really going on the right path. Because it was too easy, then I'm probably not listening to what the Lord's saying. And so that's my
Yeah.
concept, is quite often when the Lord asks us to do something, it is not an easy task and it's not going to come smoothly. But that's how we grow. That's how we get closer to him.
Yeah. That's so true. You gotta go through the darkness to get to the light, or the tough times to get to the happy times. You gotta go
Right.
through the struggle to you know, enjoy and appreciate,
Yeah.
the good things.
No one grows out of a happy, crappy life. Nothing's ever happened to them. If you've ever seen people, they're like milk toast. They have no story. They have no strength.
Yeah.
They have no character. It's the
Yep.
people that are the most amazing are the ones that have struggled and have been there. And you can get down and dirty with them and have the most unbelievable conversations and experiences because they've been there. And you're not going to find that when it's when there's been no struggle. So it's the struggle that gets us to be closer, I think, to the Lord.
Yeah, I think so too. That's when that really shows our faith, you know,
Yeah.
the trying times, I really believe. So how can practices like birth and death doula support improve quality life and deepen one's spiritual journey through major life transitions?
Wow, that's such a big one. We have taken the right of birth and death away from the people. Women have
Definitely.
given birth uh, on their own. So what we've done is we've trained them for 9 months that they're going to have this baby, they're going to be a mom, they're going to be a dad, we're going to do this. And then we medicate them, we knock them out. The Lord knew what he was doing when he made birth a struggle. When you're with a woman who's doing a home birth with no drugs or anything, it's like someone who's running a marathon. Now, you
Mhm.
wouldn't want to be running a marathon and someone picks you up in the car and rides you over the last, quarter mile. You would feel, and then you're like, whoa, did I finish it?
Mhm.
It's the same thing with birth. It's like you've done all this work and then you get numbed out. When you're numbed out, you don't relate to the baby. The bonding isn't there. It's not that it's not there at all, but it definitely, when you're a doula, you can see the difference between a mother and child, of one who's groggy, out of it, not right there with the pain, than someone who does a
Mhm.
natural childbirth that breaks down every single thing, emotional thing, that barrier that you have up. So
Yeah.
when that baby is put in your arms, there is nothing but pure love, because you don't have any of the walls there anymore, because that's what the pain does for you. It takes away all of that. And then so that baby, that bonding that you get with that child is so much better. And all the interventions, we have the highest of any first world country mortality in the infants, because we have so many interventions, so many C-sections, so many, the
Mm.
doctors, you're not allowed to be in birth, labor for so long. And then we have to cut you open, which is major surgery,
Yeah.
introducing all these things into your abdomen. It's a nightmare that we need to get rid of. And the same thing is death. We've hidden death from society. When I was in my
Mhm.
50s when I had this near-death experience, I had never seen a dead body. And I had so many people I know have passed away. And
Yeah.
there is something so sacred, so I just can't even tell you about being a death doula. So when you're a birth doula, everyone's happy. The woman
Mhm.
is in pain, yes, but it's a contained little unit. It's usually the mother, father, the doula, and
Mhm.
the maybe a nurse or a doctor or something. But it's a celebration of that baby coming in, and it's beautiful. When it's a death, it's way bigger. Lots of times, well, sometimes the person's dying alone, but lots of times there's family and friends and people are coming around,
Mhm.
and it's a long process, and you're creating a sphere of that person passing in the most beautiful way. Like, lots of times when I work as a in hospice, it has gotten to the point where everyone sees. So anybody out there who has someone who's passing, there's a tendency to see them only as that older person or the sick person, or did they poop? Did they eat? Do
Mhm.
they need to be washed or changed? And not realize they have had this enormous life, this whole
Yeah.
life that they have
Beautiful
lived.
life.
And so one of the most special things you can do is give that life back to the person who's passing, if they're capable. Even if they can't communicate, they can hear. To share stories. What
Yeah.
was your vacation? What was your most embarrassing moment? What are you most proud of? Was your mom a good cook? Start all those conversations and allow that person who's passing to feel like they so many times I sat there on a deathbed, and the person looked at me and said, wow, I really was somebody. And that's just like so sad that even in their own mind, they had just gotten to the point where they were just the sick and old individual or a cancer victim. It was just
Mhm.
medications and feeling nauseous, and no life outside of that room. And so being a hospice worker, I suggest anyone go do some hospice training and learn to sit with someone. Even if you don't ever work at a hospital or, volunteer someplace, you're going to have somebody that's going to pass. in your life, and how beautiful to be able to sit there and with an open heart be able to be with that person. You can feel the angels coming in if you're clued in. You can see they can affect energy, so you see the lights will start flashing. So lots of times if I'm in a room, the bathroom lights or the light behind, some light bulb will start flashing in the room, and I'll know that the person's going to be passing soon.
The energy, so you just transition in the energy.
Quite often when you start doing energy work, you start busting light bulbs and things like that. I really had to control my energy. I broke so many bulbs. I turned the light switch on. My energy was just going out there crazy, and the light bulbs would start breaking. And yeah, so energy is a real thing.
I know. I was going to say, true story, February 11th, 2012. I had laid my hands on my mother while she was passing. I literally could feel her spirit move up my spine in a way. I had all the hairs come up my spine. She took her last breath. She passed away in her bedroom. So I was very blessed and honored to actually feel that whole thing. I sat there for a few minutes, like I couldn't believe I just really felt her whole spirit move, and then I watched her take the last breath, and it was like, wow. So, like direct experiences, man, when somebody has certain things like that, you can't unsee that stuff,
it's forever
and so
ingrained in you.
Yeah, it like, and some of us, many of us, I'm sure many people on your podcast here know exactly what I'm talking about. Like when you have these things and they open up the garage door to the world of metaphysics, which is the science beyond the five senses, telepathy, clairvoyance, clairescence, etc. When you start tapping into this other stuff and you're having these real experiences, you cannot undo that, And so I feel like there's like, again, I've said this a couple times now, but we're like bottlenecking, right? There's a convergence. And something's about to pop goes the weasel. Not exactly sure. I'm not God, but it feels very exciting, where we're moving to.
If there's any mother out there, a pregnant woman, take the courage to study what a natural birth is like. And breastfeed your baby. I was a lactation consultant. The Lord made your milk to be perfect for that child. So breast milk has very large molecules in it. So when the baby's intestines, it's not solidified. So when they nurse, they get the breast milk, nothing passes through the intestinal lining. When you're using bottle things, the molecules are very, very tiny, and they can actually pass through the intestinal lining. And that's what's caused so many allergies and problems in this world, because reactions, inflammation, things like that. And so that's why it's so vitally important, especially just if you don't want to nurse for 6 weeks. So, and also when the first teeth come in, that's when the intestinal lining is solidified. So food should never be given to a baby until their first teeth are in. And that's the correlation that the Lord has made. So just quick little tips.
Yeah.
It's the elixir of life, mama's milk.
Yeah, I've heard that. I read a story about a lot of people have started have given birth in the ocean, and then like the dolphins will come around them.
Have
you
you
heard about that?
Yep, yeah. I've had friends have done that, and
yeah.
was a magazine article actually. There's all these orbs all over the place too. That was really cool.
There's so many beautiful things to do in this life. So let's start broadening our horizons and taking, like, there's AI out there. Google it, ask AI, like, what's some of the greatest things I can do with whatever you're interested in? What's some of the natural things I can do? Like read books or go to the local library, find a different holistic person to talk to. Come to 11.
One thing I listened to your YouTube just right before this, and I can't remember when you was speaking. I think the lady, she's from UK, that you interviewed you, and you guys talking about grounding because she had a lot of health issues, and it made me. I know about grounding. I watched a documentary on it, read a book on it. I was actually practicing grounding. I actually got grounding thing to go over the mattress, all that. And it's funny how you forget to even know about something. And before I did the podcast, I was like, man, I ain't grounded in a long time. So let me, cause I felt like my energy was off. So let me go outside and so a few minutes, because that was right. I mean, within 20 minutes of me getting
Yeah.
on what you got. And I really, it's been a long time. I could really feel the energy come up through my leg when I was on bed after maybe 3 minutes. I had to hurry up and come back inside, but when I was coming inside, like, man, I can feel the energy come up through my legs. Like, I just can feel a difference, and I felt the shift. I was like, man, that's what I needed, because I just felt like I was kind of off. Like, man, it was a reason why, like, something was kept going in my head, like, you know, go to our YouTube and listen. So I like to hear a person's voice before I speak with
Yeah.
them. That way I can kind of feel the energy, and I right away I'm like, oh, I love her energy. Energy is like, it's right, it's good. So like I knew it was gonna be a great conversation just even before I got on. So I just wanted to
Grounding,
to tell you about that.
grounding is so important. That's why everyone likes the
Mhm.
beach. They put their feet in the sand, they get in the water.
Mhm.
It's like that grounding. So right. And it happens instantaneous. The second your feet or hug a tree. Like if you can't take your shoes off, go hug a tree because you'll get the same
Yeah.
ground thing. And that's why people, tree huggers, they make all this
Mhm.
fun of them. But that's why you get the energy and you can actually heal things from doing grounding. There's so many great documentaries and things like that. Oh, it's just amazing. So yes,
Yeah.
I ground myself every day and started wearing wool shoes. It's part of the problem that we have. I would like them to completely change shoes, put back on the leather soles, because every time you walked outside, you would be grounding. And instead, we do the
Mhm.
plastic and the rubber, and we get
Yeah.
sicker. So many things we need to change.
I've been sleeping on a grounding mat since 2011. I mean, there's nothing like going outside, but
Yeah.
the winter months and stuff. Yeah, since
Yeah.
2011. Love
I
it.
will run outside in the winter when I'm at home in Pennsylvania, even in the snow. I run down my
Yeah.
path, I scream, I yell, I run back in, but I feel like vitalized and energy. I'm crazy, but
You're,
It's been a great conversation. I really enjoyed
yeah,
it. Been really good.
same
Go
here.
ahead.
So
What you about to say?
gonna say you're discharging. It's negative ions. The surface of the earth is negative ions, and so as soon as you
Mhm.
touch the earth, you discharge all because you're mostly positive ions. So you got all the EMF, electromagnetic fields, the
Mhm.
ELF, extreme low frequency stuff that we're immersed in. So it's nature always has its answer, the yin and yang,
Mhm.
And so with all that, and the people wearing those AirPods and all that kind of crazy stuff, you gotta balance it
Guilty
out.
of it.
Yeah,
yeah.
well, you got to
Yeah.
balance it out, So you go
Yeah.
outside, you go grounding, and you discharge all that.
So go outside
Cool.
again, Sean, when you're off the
Yeah,
podcast.
as soon as you get done.
And reset myself. Right. I got you.
Yeah.
It makes sense. It makes sense.
Every day,
Yeah.
it only takes, you don't even need 3 minutes. It's
Yeah.
better
Well,
to do it longer, but just go do it. Like if everyone just did that, that's why I say just change one thing about your life until you're
yeah.
comfortable, and then do the next thing, and then till you're
Yeah.
comfortable, do the next thing. Like people don't need to be overwhelmed, like they have to change all these things at one time.
Yeah. It's one step at a time, one breath at a
Yep.
time, and one choice, one thought at a time. But I mean, it sounds like 11.com is a great platform, a great community. It's going to be I'll say a global community of
Yeah.
practitioners and healers, and place people can grow and learn and just become a bigger, better, brighter version of themselves. And so not for themselves, but for them families and for their community. So I definitely appreciate, everything you guys are doing, and it's definitely be a blessing to the world at large. So I really appreciate it. Now, I just like want to know, like, what's next? I know you're trying to expand the platform and market and get everything out there. What's the, I say the 5-10 year vision for what you're trying to do?
Well, that would be it, is to have wellness centers. I want to open the first 100% holistic hospital in
Okay.
the
Now,
United States.
they
Or
do on the eastern side. Yeah. They have just all the energy healing videos
every
of that.
type of healing where you go in,
Hmm.
and it doesn't mean no allopathic medicine, but it means 100% people are looking at the whole body, everything about it, and have a holistic hospital and wellness centers that people can afford to go to.
Yeah.
That 11 is just part of everybody's language, that there's teaching seminars and whatever people need to be healthy, they can find at 11.
Sean, my oldest daughter was born with cerebral palsy, and I've through the years have played with so many just like organites and Tesla
Hmm.
biohealers and Tachyon, and I got all these toys, these energy toys that through the years I've tried to play with and to assist her.
Hmm.
And as Lori talks about having these healing centers, it's like I would love to also incorporate something for special needs kids. Many of the kids with autism and stuff like that. Though
Hmm.
I personally happen to be around a lot of, because I know there's modalities out there that can really help these people, and
Hmm.
whether it's detoxing metals or whatever it may be, but using that fifth element, that quantum wave, and really help the etherical body heal itself, neurologically and stuff like that. So again, 11's like this huge, beautiful idea, and at the end of the day, we're just really trying to assist all life become healthy, and there's many ways of doing that. So it's like, let's create this hub together,
Yeah.
and let's see what we can do moving forward through this tremendous like shift.
Be smart.
I love the mission. I love everything you're doing. I really appreciate you, blessing the Heighten Your family and just blessing just everybody that's going to hear this. So it's going to be a really great thing. And everybody that's going to get a chance to connect to your platform, become a member or a practitioner or a client, it's going to be really, really amazing.
And that goes right back at you too, Sean. Thank you so much for the voice. I listened to 4 of your podcasts. I really love what you're doing. Don't
Thank
stop, because you have got a really kind soul, and you're very soft-spoken. I really love that, and just allowing people to come through. Kudos to you. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for
Appreciate it.
everything that you're doing.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us on. We really appreciate it.
Well, hopefully we can connect here in the near future, 6 months, a year, whatever, we can
Okay.
connect and I can get on your platform, wherever you got going. I would love to be a part of that. I'm already a member, so I'm just looking forward to seeing what I can learn and where I can expand myself and my family. So I really appreciate it. So, like I said, this is another great, latest and greatest episode of How You Six Sense. I miss Laurie Curtin and Mr. Ron here. I didn't get his last name, but I appreciate you for being on and joining us, and you made the conversation even much greater. So, like you said, every great thing come in three. So that it made sense for you to be here. But we're gonna catch you guys on the next episode. Much love and much love.